Himalayan pink salt. Himalayan pink salt is not from the Himalayas. It is mined in the Kevra salt mine in Pakistan, about 300 kilometers from the Himalayan mountain range. The pink color comes from trace minerals, including iron oxide, the same compound that makes rust red. It was marketed as Himalayan in the 1990s because Himalayan sounds more premium than Pakistani. The health claims surrounding it, that it contains 84 minerals beneficial to human health, are technically true, but the mineral concentrations are so small they provide no measurable nutritional benefit. The most purchased specialty salt in the world is named after mountains it does not come from and sold for health benefits it does not deliver. Black Hawaiian salt. Black Hawaiian salt is sea salt mixed with activated charcoal, traditionally from burned coconut shells, which gives it the dramatic black color and a subtle earthy flavor that standard sea salt does not produce. Hawaii's volcanic geology and traditional salt-making culture produced this salt centuries before it became a premium product in American specialty food stores. The activated charcoal adds no significant nutritional value, but creates a visual impact on a plate that no other salt achieves. A finishing salt that turns anything it touches partially black became a favorite of food photographers and high-end restaurants simultaneously because it photographs dramatically well and requires no other explanation. Persian blue salt. Persian blue salt is one of the rarest salts on Earth, mined from a single ancient deposit in the Semnan province of Iran. The blue color comes from sylvite, a potassium mineral that refracts light at a specific angle to produce the blue tint visible in larger crystals. It cannot be replicated or produced anywhere else because the geological conditions that created the deposit are unique to that specific location. The flavor has a mild initial taste, followed by a sharp intensity that disappears quickly. A salt that exists in only one place on Earth costs significantly more than any other salt and tastes noticeably different from everything else in the category. Fleur de sel. Fleur de sel means flower of salt in French and refers to the thin, delicate crust of crystals that forms on the surface of salt evaporation ponds on calm, sunny days in specific regions of France, particularly Brittany and the Camargue. It can only be harvested by hand using wooden rakes when weather conditions are exactly right. Rain, wind, or temperature changes destroy the crust before it can be collected. The result is a moist, flaky salt with a mineral complexity and a slightly gray-white color that table salt cannot approach. A salt that requires perfect weather, manual harvest, and centuries of French tradition sells for 50 times the price of regular salt. Smoked salt. Smoked salt is sea salt or other natural salt cold smoked over hard wood for hours or days until the smoke compounds penetrate the crystal structure. Different woods produce different flavor profiles. Alder wood produces a mild sweetness associated with Pacific Northwest salmon smoking. Hickory produces the intense barbecue smoke associated with Texas brisket. Applewood produces a fruity, delicate smoke used in charcuterie. The smoke flavor in smoked salt transfers to food on contact without any heat, which means it adds barbecue character to salads, cold dishes, and preparations where actual smoking is impossible. A finishing salt that makes food taste like it came off a grill has never required a grill to be present. Kosher salt. Kosher salt has nothing to do with kosher dietary law in most commercial applications. The name refers to its historical use in koshering meat, drawing blood from the surface through osmosis due to its large flat flake structure. Professional chefs in America use kosher salt almost exclusively because the large crystals are easy to pinch and apply precisely, the flat flake structure dissolves quickly and evenly, and the absence of iodine prevents the slightly metallic taste that iodized table salt adds to food. Morton and Diamond Crystal kosher salts have different crystal densities, which means a teaspoon of one is saltier than a teaspoon of the other. Every serious American cookbook specifies which brand it was tested with. Celtic gray salt. Celtic gray salt is harvested from the tidal pools of the Brittany coast in France using traditional methods unchanged for over 1,000 years. The gray color comes from the clay lining of the salt pans, which transfers trace minerals and a slight mineral earthiness to the crystals. It retains moisture naturally, remaining slightly damp even after packaging, which is considered a quality indicator rather than a defect. Celtic salt became popular in American health food culture in the 1970s when it was promoted as a more mineral-rich alternative to processed table salt. A wet gray salt from French tidal pools became a staple of American natural food stores because it looks and tastes like something that was never processed. Red ALAEA salt. ALAEA salt is a traditional Hawaiian sea salt mixed with volcanic red clay called ALAEA, which gives it the brick red color and a mild, earthy flavor. Native Hawaiians have used it for centuries in ceremonial practices, food preservation, and cooking. It was used specifically in traditional Hawaiian dishes including poke, pig roasting, and cleansing rituals. The iron-rich volcanic clay that colors it contains purified ALAEA clay, which Hawaiians believed had healing properties. ALAEA salt is now produced commercially, both in Hawaii and internationally, though only Hawaiian-produced versions use genuine volcanic clay. A ceremonial Hawaiian salt that colored traditional food preparation for centuries became a gourmet finishing salt sold in specialty stores globally. Sea salt. All salt originally comes from the sea. Table salt, Himalayan salt, kosher salt, and every other variety trace their origin to ancient or current ocean deposits. What distinguishes sea salt as a category is the method of production. Seawater is channeled into shallow evaporation ponds and allowed to dry naturally under sun and wind until salt crystals form and are harvested. The minerals present in the specific body of water remain in the crystals, producing regional flavor variations. Mediterranean sea salt tastes different from Atlantic sea salt because the mineral profiles of those waters differ. The simplest salt category contains the most geographic variation of any salt available. Truffle salt. Truffle salt is sea salt mixed with dried truffle pieces or truffle flavoring. Most commercial truffle salt uses the synthetic compound 2,4-diphthiopentane, which replicates one of the hundreds of aromatic compounds in real truffle and costs a fraction of the actual ingredient. Real truffle costs over $1,000 per kilogram. A jar of truffle salt at a gourmet store costs $15. The math indicates which version is present. The flavor works regardless. Applied to scrambled eggs, pasta, or popcorn, truffle salt delivers the aromatic signal associated with luxury without requiring the luxury ingredient. A synthetic compound in a salt jar commands a premium price by association with one of the most expensive ingredients on Earth. Kala Namak. Kala Namak is an Indian volcanic black salt that smells distinctly and unmistakably like hard-boiled eggs. The sulfur compounds present in the salt, particularly hydrogen sulfide, produce an aroma that is either deeply familiar and comforting or immediately off-putting, depending entirely on whether you grew up eating it. In Indian cuisine, it is used in chats, raitas, and fruit salads, where the sulfur note adds a complexity that regular salt cannot replicate. Western plant-based cooking discovered kala namak in the 2010s when food bloggers realized that adding it to tofu scrambles produced an egg-like flavor without any egg. A salt that smells like eggs became the secret ingredient in vegan egg dishes globally.